problem, is it?
Hope not.
All right, Coach, just talk about Cal.
Felt that we had a pretty good week in preparation to go down and compete against them. Again, like I said, I know they're a well-coached team, and they've made many strides from last season. Defensively, again, they're going to bring pressure. If it doesn't hit home, they're going to just bring more. Offensively, they got a quarterback that's playing pretty well right now, and he has a lot of weapons. I know they're depleted. They have some injuries facing them, but guys in key spots have stepped up. So look for it to be a physical game, on both sides. And so, I mean, everybody's energized, everybody's juiced, everybody's ready to go. So, again, this is going to be a war, and, hopefully we come out on top.
When you talk about Cal, obviously they had that big win a couple weeks ago against Washington State. What worked well for them in that game when they were able to pull an upset like that? And since then, they've lost a couple games that were close. What have you kind of seen with them being inconsistent over there?
Well, I mean, what it is I think a lot of times, a lot of teams have come in and overlooked Cal, which is something you can't do in this sport. Cal was not surprised, right? But Washington State was. You look at the game that they played Arizona, who's playing some of their best ball right now, came down there to the double overtime. So I think what it is I think a lot of teams see Cal for who they used to be and not who they really are. And when you prep like that, or when you play like that, and it's not the preparation of the coach, sometimes it's the mentality of the players, just because they get focused in on, records or who's there and how they recruited, that you overlook one thing, that, they're a viable team in the Pac-12. I mean, A1, they're a team in the Pac-12. So, they hit their stride in those games. Now, yeah, you have the roller coaster of wins and losses, there in Cal, but again, I mean, look at the opponents.
Right.
You can never downplay the fact that, Arizona had a really good game against them, and they're a team that's going to continue to get better. And, as soon as they get some guys back, Cal is definitely going to be back to where they used to be back in the day with Tefford, under the helm of Tefford.
Any update on Manasa? Is he going to play this weekend?
Manasseh's fine. Obviously there's a process that he's going to have to go through, and right now we're just waiting with him through that. But he's fine.
What is that process exactly?
Well, he's got to meet with the administration, and we got to hear both sides and get the report and go from there.
Okay. When you say he's fine, that means he's going to play this week?
Well, if I was a betting man, he's fine. He's fine. I'll say that.
So I just want to be clear. Is he going to play against Cal?
No, he'll play. He'll play. That's if I was to bank on that, because again, this is before exactly, and that's what I mean. So, I think Manasse's in a good place.
You said administration. Is that essentially Scott Barnes at the end of the day?
Well, I just know that there's a process that you have to go through, given any time you have a situation like that. So I'm not going to say Scott Barnes or anyone. I'm just going to keep it at the admin, at the admin level. But again, things come up during the season. Things happen. Most importantly, this is something that Manasa has been able to learn from, and try to explain to all these athletes that you're different and you're portrayed in a certain light, and so you have to walk in that light. So he'll be fine. He's a great kid.
I know you can't talk specifics, but just talking about the energy that's been around Oregon State football, both on and off the field, the last week or so. What's it kind of been like just to be able to have, being able to sell Beaver Nation to just everyone around you?
It's been great. It's easy when you have a good product, right, to sell. And the reason why it's a good product is because you can see it, right? It's not just lip service.
Right.
Now, obviously, you look forward to what it is on the field, right? Saturday, the game, the wins and losses of it. And I think what people are seeing is that it's a rejuvenated, program. And so selling Beaver Nation, the national exposure, that didn't hurt.
Right.
And for people who understand football, who've been around the sport for a while, obviously you see a difference, and the difference is only in the play and the action of the players, right? And so when the country sees that, they take notice to it, and to sell it, I've only said that, this is Oregon State, this is Beaver football, this is, a brand that's being built, and it's no different than any college program across the country, right? You look at Boise. I mean, Boise State, who were they 15 years ago, right? And you respect that program. You can say that about a lot of programs that were barely talked about, and then they've established themselves as perennial powerhouses. So if you see what's going on, then, and you're a sports fan, okay, and you're a fan of football, you can't help but be excited, for these players and, for the community and for the university.
On Tuesday, we saw Jake back out here, came out to meet with us, the media. How's he looking from what you've seen, and is there a chance that maybe down the line you can see him back in practices?
Well, I mean, it's the same thing, right? There's a process that he has to go through, and, you take each day as that, day by day progressing. You kind of watch it and you protect him. I mean, because it was an injury that, you shouldn't take lightly. And I tell Jake, there's no rush, because just playing quarterback and getting hit hurts. So, the mentality that, may still persist as far as remembering what happened, you still have to go through the psychological aspect of getting back on the field. Then he's got to get back into, obviously the change in the offense, right? And just throwing his motions and, some stiffness that may be there. So he's just going to continue to progress, and I'm not going to put any timetable on him, not going to put any stress on that. Just continue to watch him, become more comfortable, just being back around, basically just around the team, right? So you don't want to really put too much pressure on him to try to perform.
Has he been back kind of in meeting rooms now and being with his quarterbacks or stuff?
Well,
not quite yet.
It's just to whatever he's available for as far as how he's feeling. So there's no set meeting. Obviously he's a part of this program, still is. So whenever he feels up to it or capable to be able to come around, he's welcome.
What was your message to the team after practice today?
So I just called them all up, and what I believe in is hearing from everyone, right? Because everyone is invested. And so basically I just told them, the identity that you've taken on is a part of a fraternity of football. And my identity is infectious and it's very fearless. And I wanted to hear from a few guys about what this game meant, and not just the game versus Cal, but the game of football. So I always share with the players what football has meant to me over my 40 years of life. And should I have said that? I'm just giving my age away. Anyways, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to hear. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to hear from a couple of guys, offensively and defensively, seniors, and just let them stand in the middle and share with the group what football and what this game means to them. Then I wanted to call on two coaches, and I'll do that every week, just so everyone can know that this is first off family, and everyone is invested, and everyone has their own passion, in their own way about this game. And moving forward, you want to get to know each other, right? Both player and both coach. And because a lot of times, it's just the coach-player relationship where it's this guy yelling at you,
right.
And there's something much deeper to him. And so I just want everybody to know who's with them and who's against them. And so basically that's what we did. We called it up, and everyone stood in the middle, and they had an open forum to speak.
Who spoke today?
Manasa, Thomas Tyner, Jason Phillips, and John Rushing.
Coach, this is your first road game as the head coach. Are you going to change routines at all, or will it be pretty much the way Coach Anderson did it? Or?
No, it'll be exactly the way Coach Anderson did it. There was nothing to change there. The team travels well. So.
Do you talk to the team at all about the fact that the program hasn't had a win since October 4th, 2014?
Nope, I didn't even know that.
Looking forward to Cal, though, this week, what do you think is the biggest thing you guys need to combat on the field?
The biggest thing is, again, just finish. right? And ball security, we have to minimize mistakes, which is, week in and week out. Also, along with that, we have to create turnovers. We have to win the field position battle, yada, 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 all that football business. But, it's going to come down to being disciplined, executing your assignments, and not beating ourselves, most importantly. When you look at the games that we were in, even from the beginning of the season, I will not give credit where credit is not due. If you beat us, then you beat us, right? And we can accept that. But, it's one thing when you shoot your own self in the foot, right? And you bleed out to your own and create your own demise. And that's one thing that we cannot do, right? And we got to keep the athletes focused every series, every quarter, every half, and we have to finish the right way.
Can you talk a little bit about just Cal and what they've been able to kind of do? And on their first year, brought in new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, had very little expectations, picked last in basically the conference, and they've surprised everyone. Why do you think that is?
Well, because obviously, like you said it yourself, no one expected anything, right? So anything that they would do, pass plus whatever they did last year, would be like hip hip hooray, right? And so it comes along with it, right? It's always easier to under promise and over deliver. Right, and when you're in a situation like that where you have time, right, you come in and you start and no one really has high expectations. There are things and risks that you can take, right, in that first year, because they're saying, well, I have to rebuild this program anyway, so whatever we do is just, basically we're playing with house money, right? And so they've done a great job of building Cal, they've created something on offense that they believe in. Baldwin has done a really good job. And then you have Wilcox and DeRuiter over there, two great defensive minds that I respect, I have a high regards for. And they got those players to believe. I've watched their I don't know if it was the drive, but I've seen how they interact with the players. And you can tell that they're also player coaches, you know what I mean? And they're seasoned. And so they've done exactly what they were hired to do. Any staff in that position, if the administration did what they did the best job they can do and putting the right people in the right positions to be successful as far as hires, they're doing exactly what they should be doing.
All right, thanks, Cory. Appreciate it.
Thanks.